like we're in heaven. Like this is like God allowing us to. Magic is the best word I could come up with as far as like it was just the feeling of it. And then he was playing, he was doing keyboard, he's doing this, that, and other. And I never forget he sang, I gave my all at Calvary for he gave. Woo! And he got the lights down, and I'm standing, everybody's standing around listening. Hey, hey, everything he had, Jesus.
Yes.
Hey, and I'm watching it go down. And man, my body is, and I was in the back just saying, just taking notes, mental snapshots. And that's the foundation. So I'm Fred Hammond, not because I got a dope voice. My voice is different. I'm Fred Hammond not because I was a good bass player. I'm Fred Hammond not because I was a good, musician or drum programmer or producer. I'm Fred Hammond because I paid attention to the room. So when I pay attention to the room like you, it was easy. Like you took the position that I needed and didn't know I needed, but because you were doing it all the time and showing it to me, like, hey man, what you doing? I'm like, man, I was getting into production and I want to do my own film.
Yep.
And so you showing me this. And I'm like, man, he got the thing. And I never forget, man, we went and bought that A7. I spent $4,000 and gave the camera to you. Said,
and you gave it to me.
And you would go in and edit it and this, that, and the other. And we had a great time. And now look, you doing your thing. You're doing your thing.
Bro, but you pay attention to the room.
Pay attention.
You gotta pay attention to the room. There was this pastor, I can't remember, I think it's Steve Parsons used to say, find a need and fill it, find a hurt and heal it. I think that the generation that we live in now, everybody's a superstar, bro. Everybody's a superstar. Everybody can jump on Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever, and you can write your own ticket. But I'm the dude that's like, man, let me figure out. That's exactly how I ended up, that Dave the Glaxo Welcome tour back in 2000 at the Sunrise Musical Theater. Bro, I'm in there setting up equipment because I think there's something to be said about and I'm gonna come back to that in a second, but I think there's something to be said about the absence of liner notes nowadays, because I remember, when the Inner Court record came out, and I'm reading the liner notes, bro, and I'm looking at these names, and I'm following, not just you, but I'm following Noel, I'm following Big Tom, I'm just reading, these.
That was our Instagram and Facebook liner notes.
That's liner notes was the Instagram and Facebook, bro. You're exactly correct. I remember sending letters to Face in Detroit. I remember sending letters, bro. And it's like, man, that was so the day that you guys came to Fort Lauderdale to the Glaxo Welcome, and the band walks in. I know these dudes because I've been following them since like all of these years, bro. So it's like I honor the room. So I'm like, if I can plug in a cable for Noel Hall, if I can I, what can I do? But nobody wants to do that anymore.
Man, let me tell you.
Nobody wants to serve anymore.
Let me give you another one. So let me show you how you were doing what we did. When we first met, when I finally had to leave commission, and I'm pretty sure we'll come back to some of that. And I had to leave. I had to start RFC. We got a jump start from somewhere, it started to kick in. Inner Court came out, and it was a record here I'm making the records with commission for $75,000. Now, when I'm out of commission, I have to be demoted to making a record for $20,000. And we're trying to figure out how to do that. And I couldn't see how to do that at Studio A, because I couldn't afford to make the record that I wanted to. So we ended up buying a Tascam 2-inch machine, a Tascam board that, back that time, it was what kind of board you got, an MCI or
MCI
or Neve, or you got a SSL. Man, we had a Tascam 24 track, 8 input, 8, whatever it was, and a 2-inch Tascam tape machine. And I was a little ashamed at first, but somebody said, man, start here. Just start here, bro. and you'll be okay. But be willing to start. And I'll never forget the scripture that came and said, don't despise the day of small beginnings. Because I knew everybody would laugh at me in Detroit, like they ain't got no studio, you got a CAD scam over there. But nevertheless, I gathered my little people and we were doing our thing, and all of a sudden one day it kicked in. We did Inner Court, and the record company didn't put much in it. And rather than put that $20,000 to spending it up and don't have nothing else, I bought the tape machine was like $8,000, and the board was like $2,500, and that's so that's 10 right there. And then I had a little building that I was only paying $1,500 a month, and we had these raggedy mics, and Ray didn't know how to do anything. He was learning on the fly. He never recorded a song. He was learning how to pass signal. I said, "You think you can learn how to do?" He said, "I'll figure it out." And we was passing mics right over the wall. These little raggedy cheap mics. I can still hear them now, but they was raggedy little cheap. They wasn't even they wasn't nothing. It was not even Sony's. There was nothing. And we mic'd the whole choir up, told everybody to put on these little raggedy, like $5 headphones. And it was 30 of them. I had that money. I bought that. And we made this record. And the record company didn't even put no marketing into it. And the first week it came out, it went on the radio. The first week it came out, it sold out because they only did 10,000 copies. And the first week before the week was out, boom, 10,000 copies was gone out the distributor. Central South, gone. And everybody like, whoa.
Come on, Central South.
It was like, whoa. It was a ridiculous amount of records gone. And so they said, well, order some more. Order $5,000 more, $5 or whatever. And that was gone. However many it was gone like every week. And we did for 3 weeks, we was killing, and it was just making more. And then Central South shut down. And they had no way to get it, but the radio was still playing Glory to Glory. And it was playing. And we broke through. Then that record, when Central South was able to go back out, man, that record was just climbing. And we went from 40 to 11, and we went right number 2 behind Kirk Franklin.
God.
So here's the thing. Now me and Kirk are becoming friends. We hanging out. We talking to each other on the phone. Kirk is getting ready to do a tour. Al Wash is in it. He's getting ready to do a tour. And so they said, we're going to do a tour with Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond and Radical for Christ, and the Canton Spirituals. It was like, yo, dope. So Kirk and them had buses. Canton had their own bus, and we had a sit-up. He had a little rapid sit-up. It was horrible looking too. But we was all on there. You couldn't tell us, brother. We wasn't in no private G4. But we enjoyed each other. But here's the thing. One time we went to rehearsal, and Kirk and them band came late, and they wouldn't, they were going to get a sound check, but they were, taking their time. So we got up one night after them. We had no sound check. So we were sound checking in front of the audience. And so I came up, I said, I tell you what, this is what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to serve them. Me, Tommy, Noel, Marvin, and Terrence, and we're going to serve Kirk's band. And my band, my guys, Noel and them, they understood serving. We came from Reggie Lane, and we understood serving. So our rehearsals, we served. Our rehearsals, we worshiped for hours. Like literally, I taught them guys how to play for hours without changing all of that stuff around playing. Our God is an awesome mighty rain, and they're getting bored. No, I said, play the same thing over and over. Just stay in that pad. I don't want nothing but a pad. And man, the glory of the Lord would come in that room, and we would never change. We'd be in there for an hour just singing. And David Ivy and them, and this, that, and other. We're just singing, learning discipline. We're just getting discipline. And I said, let's do this. Let's serve Kirk and them. And they're like, well, what do we need to do? I say, when we get to the venue, carry their instruments in the building. And set up, we're going to be the roadies to set them up. And we're going to set up there. And Nolan said, bet. And every day we got there, they said, don't even worry about it, man. We're going to set your gear up for you. You tell me how you like it. The drums will be set up how you like it, and everything. And they was like, man, that's cool. That's cool. And so we set their stuff up every night with no argument, man. Them brothers, I had the dopest band in the planet. But here's the back door to that. While we're testing their instruments, we're getting a sound check. We never not got a sound check again.
Come on,
We
baby.
never not got a sound. So every time we stepped up to the mic, glory, God, boom, boom, we was on, but we served. Then you serve. And there are people that come around me that now that just do that. And they understand that level of it, And it's not a serving is not a 4-letter word.
Right.
Sometimes, and I can't tell you how many times I've done that very thing with people who are bigger than me in the room. There was a time this brother, J.D. Lawrence, he had the hottest play in the country called Cleanup Woman. Man, he was selling out 2-3 weeks in Houston and New York and this, that, and other. And I walked into the room and I paid attention to it. And I looked, I don't want to be in no part of no play. And I looked and I saw the laughter and I saw the people piling in to do this. And that dude was a genius. He was funny as all get out. And the Cleanup Woman was just a dope show. One time he said, I said, honored to meet you, Mr. Hammond. You're one of my favorites. He said, would you mind doing a cameo? And right there on the spot, we came up with a character for me to play. To walk into his room, it was a cab station, and I was coming to be somebody applying for a job as a cab driver. And so on the spot, we improv'd it. And I walked out, they had it in Dallas, and I walked out and people clapped this, that, and the other. And they didn't know I had chops acting and I was funny. So me and him was just bantering off each other. People was hollering and screaming. And they said something. And he said, we got off the stage. He said, walk out, but then I want you to sing Blessed. And so I said, okay, well, maybe I'm in the wrong room and we're just having fun. People loving it. And I said, oh, before I leave, E flat, blah, blah, boom, let me hear you say, boom. And man, the audience went up. He said, come back tomorrow. I went back the next night. I saw opportunity. I didn't say, how much you going to pay me? How much you going to do this, that, and another. I saw the opportunity. The room was bigger than me. I was already Platinum Fred. I was already platinum. I wasn't trying to be platinum. I'm actually infusing the boost every day. So I went back every night. I said, I'll go back every night. Don't worry about it. They said, man, I budget. I said, don't worry about it. Just give me that slot. All I need you to do is give me that slot every night. And each night I was working on my chops and it was funnier and funnier and he just enjoyed it. And I would like to, before I go, I was wondering, anybody over there got an E flat? Blah, blah, boom, let me say boom, boom, late in the midnight hour. And the place went crazy. So I said, I'm going to come to Houston. They were in Houston next. I said, don't worry, I'll get there. I didn't have a dressing room, bro. I said, don't worry about it. In that theater, if you go up several steps and you go out, there was a hallway where nobody was at. A hallway. I changed clothes and I'm Platinum Doggone Fred. They didn't have a room and I wasn't there to kick nobody out. I wasn't there to share with nobody. I went upstairs in that little area because for the nights that they were there, I played my part never complained to this, that, and other. All I needed to do just let me hit that E flat one time in front of this audience. I'm already Platinum Fred. And I just understood how sometimes rooms are bigger than me. And those are the rooms I want to be in. And those are the rooms I want to know how to stay in. If anything now, like you said, this generation don't realize how hard they have it. Because number one, everybody is Kim Burrell and old John P. Key. Everybody has the chops to do. I hear singers, man, it's just natural to be able to have the level of control and I'm looking at them. But it's now, instead of our generation coming up where it was top 40 singers and only the top 10, 15 really made it through. It's thousands, 10,000 of them that can sing the same way. So what's going to make you different? Your character, and you're finding the rooms that are bigger than you and knowing how to stay in them. That's the key. I knew how to stay in every room. And I do it to this day. Man. I know how to stay in the room. I just come off to one of the biggest tours in the country with Kirk. I knew how to stay in the room. Hey, Doc, what you need? Kirk picked my songs for me.
What?
I wanted to feel a little way because I had what I wanted to do and I knew what I was going to do, but it didn't fit his program. He knew what he wanted
Word.
for the show to be overall, and it wasn't nothing to do with what I wanted. He said, here's the songs I'd like you to consider. Can I? And he's very respectful. Kirk is very respectful and very diplomatic. I played for him the songs I wanted, and man, they're all bangers. And I know what my audience want. He said, Big Bro, can you just take this as a consideration? Here's what I'm trying to do. Here's the vision. And can I give you a list? He said, can you start with so-and-so? And then I'd like you to go to so. And I'm sitting there like, okay, all right. You know,
I hear
but
you.
I'm sitting there thinking, these are songs I want to minister. I want to minister these songs. I got a word. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, do the math, bro. And I sat there and I listened to him, and he said this, and I had a segment of commission, at least a 2 to 3 minute segment of commission, because it's a part of my legacy. And
Right.
he said, okay, that's nice. He listened to it. You know, Kirk ain't gonna go for it when he shake his head like. Yeah, he ain't going for it. And he said, listen to me. He said, man, I need Fred Hammond to come out, and basically, he said it a different way. He said, but I need you to slay. And here are the songs I believe, because it was no longer about me and what I wanted in his vision. It was what he needed me to be in his vision and the slot where he wanted me to be. And I got it. It didn't take me long. I had to keep asking the question more. So he said no. He passed on the commission segment, and then Bishop Brooks passed. And I said, man, listen, I gotta at least do this little tribute, if you don't mind. And he's okay. And we did a little blurb of Strange Land. That's it. And I put Brooks' picture up. No matter what differences we had in the past, it was the thing. Brooks and I left. And by the time we left, we didn't have no issues like that. I mean, we thought about whatever we thought. By the time he went his way and I went mine, I respected him because he went and tried to do what he wanted. He felt big enough that I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it on my own. So me and him, I've always had that level. I don't know what they thought about over there about me. It didn't matter. I was cool. So I said I want to at least honor him. And Kirk said, okay, cool. When he heard it, it was, how can we sing when we're in a strange land? How can we face adversity? Whoa, how can we? By the way, that was my part that I made up for that record. So that's the part. So I'm I'm getting two things out of it: serving and getting. You know, once again. And then we went right on into whatever we went, and I had Keith and Marcus with me. But you know, that was my role. My role was, what do you need? And the slot where he put me, one night, I noticed something. So we would have this little a cappella part where we all go up and sing a song. You know, everybody sing a part. And Marvin was not the time, not the place. Kiki would sing something, and Yolanda would kill with, you know, the battle or something, this, that, and the other. And the Coxes would, it's not the time, tribulation, never let a day go by. And they kill it. And then he got to me. And we were trying to figure out what song. It was just going to be No Weapon, right? And let that be that. And one day, Robin Thicke he was on R&B Money.
He was on, yeah.
Right before our first concert. And he did Running Back to You with Tank and Jay. And I said, have you seen this? He said, you want to try that? And I said, yeah. He said, I'm going to play it for you. I said, cool. And he played it, and it went crazy. But man, it was a lot of pain with that. We can talk about that later. It was a lot of pain with that. So people thought I was rejoicing and happy, because when I went, how can you, the place lit, right? And man, I couldn't even finish the first 3 to 4. I couldn't even finish. And people thought I was under the anointing, and I was just under memory trauma. Like the good, the bad. I was just under amazing trauma. And then the song was echoing in my head, and I'm seeing people sing it, young people. And other people just locked in, and it would take over the room every night. And I just thought about, man, this is what he needs. But now when I'm sitting there, I'm looking at all the bits. Some say, pay attention to the people in the front row, pay attention to everybody around you. And so I'm seeing the arena's packed. And so I look in the front row. I see this person. I see this lady with this zebra skirt on or zebra hat. Or I see this other dude with his cowboy hat on. I see another couple over there. They're older couple. I see another. And so I'm paying attention. The room is talking. I'm paying attention. I'm doing the math. Then when I come out, it's after intermission. And I notice that I'm the Kiki who opens, and me are the only one who don't sing to a full house when they open, because everybody's in the bathroom or out there stretching their legs, and they have this long world vision thing, and people are like, "Man, really?" Right. So when I come back, 12 to 15, 20% of the arena is gone, and now Fred Hammond, time to let the praise begin. Jesus, will you be your friends? And I'm looking, and I'm like, that person is gone. This person, and I'm looking, and roles gone. And so I'm saying, man, I'm not. Slide is really not groovy, because people are gone, and they're coming back. But they was only gone for a second, because as soon as they hear you going, here we are, you see people running back in. And I talked to Kirk. He was understanding. So they said, coming back 5 minutes, Fred Hammond. Whoa. That helped a little bit. But I settled my spirit to know this is my job and this is my spot. I play the 4. If I'm in basketball, I'm the 3. And so this is my job. I grab rebounds and I shoot. I grab rebounds. That is my job. And so I rested it in my heart. I never paid no more attention to it, because I saw people rushing by. By the time I got to the 3rd song, house was full of people rushing in. Yeah. But that's the job they needed me to do, get people back in the room. And then Marvin came on after me and took them on in. So you gotta settle in your heart, man. You gotta be fulfilled, and you gotta settle junk in your heart. That's another thing. You know what I mean?
Man, dude, because what happens is we fall in love with the first position that we play. And so when the person who enlisted us, when God needs us to change positions, are we so married to what I did when I became who I became that I can't let that go? It's like having a superstar come off the bench.
Yeah.
Because the general manager knows that if we're going to get this chip, I'm going to need somebody to spark that second string. And so if we're so caught up in the fact that, dude, you know who I am? I ain't coming out here to play no second string, bro. You got me twisted, bro. But for you to be able to submit yourself to the design and the desire of the person who has a vision for you that might be different than your own, that's really big, bro.
Go ahead.
Some people can't let it go.
I sow into people what I would like people to sow into me. Not what I would like them to sow into me, what I demand them to sow into me. If I said, this is what I did when I was here, then if somebody comes in this space, this is what I'm going to demand that you do. And I'm not going to, first of all, I'm going to see if they can do it. And if they can't do it, then I'll know how to proceed. And I've lost a lot of people that walked away that wish they hadn't now, because they didn't understand, because they couldn't give up where they were in their head, where they were legends in their own mind.
In their own mind.
And that's what I loved about it. I really honored and loved working with you guys, because, man, we needed you all to play a role. We play a role. We normally have an R&B person like Regina Bell or somebody out like that, but we needed a group that could do both. And you guys played the path both, because we were dealing with love and relationships. God told me to talk to you about dealing with love and relationships, divorce, and this, that, and the other. So it was a mixture of a hybrid of a play. And at the end of the day, we had our situation where one person didn't think we should do it like that, and we get it. But man, this is what I wish that it would have happened. But here, that every night, every man was around that altar crying and weeping. I say, I want to be. It's called Texture of a Man. That was the name of our tour. What?
Texture of a Man, Doc.
And wasn't that the name of it? Was that the name?
Yeah, Texture of a Man.
Texture of a Man.
It's called a Man Textures.
Yeah, and that's what y'all did. Bruno Mars and people looked at y'all like, that's crazy. And,
bro. No.
and I'm not gonna let
you left me.
I'm not gonna
bro.
That. You know why? Because y'all wanted to do it. Y'all said what?
You, bro, you left me out there, Michael Jackson and my butt off in
Alexandria.
Alexandria, Louisiana.
Listen to me. I saw the train wreck. People looking at us like we was
And
crazy.
left me on
And I'm
stage.
trying to get everybody's attention. And then the dude we had playing the actor, he took his shirt off up on God Moves and took his shirt off and dancing.
My
And
God.
we was a train figure. And man, you was just a
Dude, bro,
and I was like,
you told Mark, you
hey, get
you told Mark to hit
get
that. Brother, I'm out there with the spotlight moonwalking, and from the right corner, somebody says, "What about Jesus?" Doc, I looked to my left, brother. You was exited that stage, and I was like,
They was telling us to get off. They was telling us, y'all got to get off. It's over. Because number one, the show ran long. We were over time. People didn't come to rehearsal. That should have been rehearsal. We was missing lines. And so we went long. So the promoter's like, y'all got to get off stage now. And you was just getting it. I say, somebody go get him. Somebody go get him. And it was the worst night of the tour. And
it was opening night.
the opening night. And we went back to the hotel, had a big meeting, and me and the other artists, man, it was bad. It was bad. But you know what? We got it. We ended up getting it, and it became a fine-tuned machine. You know?
It did. But here's the thing, man. Even in that, I look back at that, bro. Even Jesus said, gather the fragments so that nothing is wasted.
Yeah.
That, for me, that wasn't even wasted, bro.
Yeah.
For us to be able, some people would, man, they get in their feelings, they get offended, like, man, you left me out there on that stage, and I ain't talking, I ain't dealing with him, and they would dishonor the person who's responsible for all of this. I would have never been here had I dishonored that moment or dishonored you in that moment, bro. And to the people, to the this younger generation that's watching, man, you gotta learn. I think we have to make sure that we learn honor, man.
Yeah.
Because if we don't keep pouring that honor on the people that are responsible for us being in these spaces, then we're reaping a whirlwind, bro.
Yeah. And then, man, I'm looking at them, and I'm like, I'm seeing it hard, and it's not even the same that we had it. See, we had physical product. We knew what we was gonna get from a $16.99 retail, $9.99, $8.99 wholesale. We knew what our royalties was gonna be. We knew what the cassettes was going to be, and we got paid for physical product. Now, all of a sudden, the game has changed, the streaming has changed, and the people that listen to us, how they consume music has changed. They don't listen to it no more the same way. You know, the kids in hip hop, they never take their earbuds out, and they're listening all the time to what the late. That's why so many hip hop rap millionaires. But I just asked the numbers. I say, on the average, I got a room. I said, how many of y'all, 15 people, how many of you got up this morning and turned on Spotify or some gospel music? Nobody did. On your way to work, how many of you all listen to gospel music, regular radio? Nobody listened to it. They said, what do you listen to? We listen to Pandora, we listen to your channel, we listen to Kirk's channel. So you all listen to different channels. And how long is your ride to work? Somebody say an hour, somebody say 15 minutes. So you're streaming for 15 minutes and you're getting 3 songs. You're streaming for an hour and you're getting 6 songs. And then you go into work, you might be able to put them on in, but 9 times then you don't stream till you come back out. Another hour, 15 minutes on the way home. And then when you get home, you ain't listening to it no more. That is the issue. How our audience consumes music. It's just not enough to move the needle to do anything. And here you see people talking about Snoop. He did 1 billion songs and got $30,000 or something crazy. And he got on him, and where the money? 1 billion songs, 1 billion streams, and it don't pay no more. So think about it. We get less than a little bit. Now, my streams over the years, and last year I do the numbers every year, it was 26 million streams on Spotify alone. So I'm somewhere in the 50 million, 60 million stream era, and the money, the royalties is just okay. You get a hit on gospel radio back in the day, your BMI, your ASCAP, your royalties Man, you
Yeah.
get man. We was printing money and complaining, but man, we were printing money. You think about it today, this artistry, they don't have that, so they have to find another way to get in a room. And here's the beautiful thing. Now, I got some nephews that really want to get in the room. You know, like Bam Travis up in Detroit, and a couple others. You know, Marcus McFarland, and who's in my play, and different people. They want to be in the room, and so I allow them in the room. And I said, "This is the best I can offer you now. You want to be a part of this play? You want to be a part of this little movie I'm doing? That's where you get your juice, because too many of y'all." And that's the thing I would say to them, man. You got to find a room bigger than you, and you better appreciate it when you get in it. You hold on to it till God transfers you. You know, I didn't leave the Winans because I felt it was my season. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you the truth. I got my managers and two of the other group members from commission. Won't mention their names. They called me one night in the middle of the night and told me to come to a manager's meeting. And the managers told me, if you do not quit the Winans, we're going to take this group from you. And I'm like, what's the problem? I said, do we have a record deal yet? No, but we're going to get one. They didn't even know who to call to get a record deal. The managers didn't even know who to call to get a record deal. And they was like paying for a little bit of studio time. They probably paid for like $3,000 worth of studio time. That's about it. And they got me down in that room. It was 5 managers and 2 of the guys from commission. And they told me, if you do not quit the Winans, we're going to take this group from you. Do you know the fear that took in my heart? Because I didn't know law. I didn't know anything. I'm sitting in the room, sitting in the middle of a circle.
Right.
And I'm looking at them like, I don't get it. Do we have any concerts? We didn't have no concerts, bro. We didn't have nothing. And I'm sitting there scared to death. You're going to take my group. Because somebody was talking to them saying they could do the group without me. And I'm sitting there like, okay, I got to quit. So the hardest thing I had to do was go tell the Winans I had to quit. And I couldn't tell them why. I couldn't snitch. I couldn't tell them why. It didn't make no sense. Number one, they didn't like me in commission and being with them anyway. They thought I was taken from their brand. And I was totally against. They didn't really know me and what I was doing. But I was not trying to be the Winans Jr. We were trying to be the version of the Time, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Clark Sisters.
Yeah. Got it.
That was what we were
going
to be.
That makes sense.
You know, we were going to be a different vibe, younger. Right. But they wasn't crazy about it, but they let me still do it. They're like, yeah, you know, y'all doing that, you know, be with that, you know, go ahead and do that. And they didn't kill me on they encouraged me to do it, but it was something they had to keep an eye out. And I wasn't leaving them brothers. I loved them so much. And I enjoyed until I can't do this, until my commission gigs take over and I can't do it no more. I'm gonna be here. Because I love it.
Right.
I love what I'm doing. I love traveling and showing. The next thing you know, I had to go and tell the brothers, I got to leave after so-and-so. And they was lit. Dang. They were still saved, but they were so disappointed in me. And that's what I hated most, man. I hung my head in shame for that right there. He said, this is why we don't like people having stuff like that, because it's going to do stuff like this. Look at all the places we took you, this, that, and the other. And now you're just going to leave us like that? And I could not tell him why that I can remember. And I just said, I got to go. And I had to watch him audition new bass players. So we go to rehearsal. And I'll be playing, and they say, hey, let Russell jump on this song right quick. And I had to unplug mine and let Russell Kessler, I believe his name, he come in. Russell was sweet. And they said, oh, yeah, cool. We're going to be fine. Yeah, they're cool. So it was a little petty. And I had to sit there and take it, but I put myself in that position.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be dope. Russell, and they high-fiving this, that, and I'm sitting there watching it. And I couldn't tell them I didn't want to go. But they were spiritual enough to catch up on it. And at our last gig, it was at I think, University of Illinois in Chicago. I remember who was all on it. Milton Brunson, I believe Al Green was on it. The Winans was headlining it. It was big. And I was talking to Terry Cummings. He came up to me and said, "You remember Terry Cummings from Milwaukee Bucks?"
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
came up to me and said, "So I hear you about to leave." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You got a group, huh?" I said, "Yeah." "You want to go?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, listen, basically, trust the journey." He's a very spiritual brother. He just says, trust the journey. It's something to that get. You're going to be fine. God has got you, whatever it is. And yeah, and I'm like, amen, amen. I didn't want to hear that. I was leave. This was my last, so I'm taking in everything, all the other groups, and I'm sitting there, and I'm with Percy Beatty and all of them, and we all backstage, and we do this that, and other. And this is the last time I'm gonna see this for years.
Dang.
I got in the room, I got in the car, and they said, we got a little gift for you, a going away gift. And they started singing to Finders Keepers. They said, it says, I don't remember. It says, and farewell, Fred. We love having you around. Leaving always made us smile, but your leaving makes us proud. Farewell, Fred. It's still here today. I still feel it today. We'll miss having you around. And I asked Marvin, I said, have you ever wrote another song for another musician? He said, not one in the earth. So I made an impact, and they were upset, but I was family. And I hated leaving because somebody was jealous. They didn't have nothing for me, but I was determined. At the end of the day, it wasn't even about the meeting. It was about God pulling me away and see if I would do it. If I would do it for the cause and the passion. So he put me in a situation that I had to make a step away to see how dedicated was it to the vision that he gave me. They had to say to me, bro, we gonna take this group from you, because they knew whose it was. It wasn't nothing else. And I said, not today, you not. I'll give up whatever I got to do that. But they wrote that song for me. And those have been my family members ever since. So to look at Marvin Winans now come in his presence and look at Marvin Winans and say, man, I hope I made you proud. He said, man, you made us proud. You made us proud. You know, and at the end of the day, that is a relationship that I always will have. Never broken. And for them to write that song for me, I carried it to this day. I sang it just like that, and it still hit me. Just the flood. You saw the flood, as if it happened yesterday. Man, I'm 64. I was 23, and it's still there. But the reality was simple. Is when I was in the room, I was an asset. I didn't complain. When things weren't great, I wasn't all up in your face complaining or looking or feeling some kind of way. I was always a light. I was making them laugh all the ways. I didn't make the most amount of money, but I took advantage of the room and said, this is the best place for me to be. And I had to get ripped out of it to get to the next level. And the same thing, and it goes on and goes on and goes on. So that's, what is character got me here, not my singing. Because I can guarantee you there were musicians and bass players and singers that were more talented than me in Detroit that probably should be right where I'm at. But if it was based on talent, I would be down the depth chart. But God don't pick that. He picked character. Now, a lot of people talk scripture and talk all this stuff. They think that's character. No, character is, what do you do when you think God is not looking? And I'll be honest. Let me just be honest with you. Man, I was a young kid in Detroit. I was struggling, with the area of, fornication,
something different.
I kept a lid on it. I wasn't around time to have no threesomes and all that kind of. I just wanted a girlfriend. Go ahead and look the other way. I didn't get into all that, and I'm not saying nobody else did. But I'm just telling you, in the midst of that, let me tell you, in the midst of that, and I'm not bringing nobody else into whatever they did. I'm bringing me. In the midst of me, only that's all I knew how to do. And I was a late bloomer. I didn't do it all through high school. I was a late bloomer. Out of high school, I was I was dealing with that. And I always felt guilty, but it was what it was. This is all we did in the hood, saved or not.
Right.
One time I was at my girlfriend's house and I loved her. I said, this person I'm going to marry. And I loved her. And we just had a moment. We just had a moment. And I sat down in the living room and I was, I don't want to be. The biggest thing at that point is don't get her pregnant. Don't get her pregnant.
Right.
Don't bring no, mama said, don't bring no babies home.
Right.
But I remember that even through that, God sent a word. I had nothing. I had a raggedy car where any day the front end could go away and I could be in a terrible crash because I had my tie rods was broken. I ain't had enough money. I was in a horrible way. And I remember in the midst of that, my heart was always, Lord, help me make some money so I can have a wife. I don't want to keep doing this. But it seemed like I can't stop. That's where Running Back to You came from. And when I finally wrote it, that's where it came from. You know, I didn't do drugs. I didn't do dope. I didn't sell crack. I didn't do heroin. I didn't rob the 7-Eleven. None of that was my vice. It was just, man, I was having intimacy issues and no girl had ever liked me before. You know, and finally I get a girlfriend and now I figured out this thing called, hey, all my boys was talking about it. My boys in school, they was all dealing with it. I felt like an outsider, virgin. And so when I finally found out, and now I'm feeling guilty each time. And as I'm feeling guilty one night, I'm sitting on the side and we're just kicking it on the side of the dining room table. We're sitting there and I love this woman, this girl. And I heard these words, you're going to do some great stuff for me. To the point where I was like, remember when the prophet called the other prophet, the little boy prophet, and he said, I believe it's Samuel, and he said, you know,
let me get the TV.
Huh? Say again?
Let me go back to I hear you. The prophet, it was Samuel. I think it was Samuel.
And he heard the word of the Lord. He walked into the prophet and said, hey, here I am. What you want? It was just like that. It was just like that. Excuse my mind. It's getting older, so I can't access the stuff I want to access like I want to give names like I want to give. But I sat in the room and I said, it was so loud in my spirit that I looked around and I said, you know what the Lord just told me? He told me I'm going to do great things for him. And she said, really? So she's looking at me like, how are you going to do great things? Well, we just, you know, I said, I don't know. But I heard it loud and clear. You're going to do great things for me. And it was like, you have no idea what great things you're going to do for me. And I'm sitting there like, how can you use me? And I didn't even know my life story. I didn't even know I was almost aborted fetus or a bastard kid. I didn't know anything about that at that age. And he just said it. And he said it with such joy. But that's been my driving motivation. The Lord said this. I didn't say that. So everything I did was out the plan, but it was in a broken place that he ended up calling me from to where I didn't have to do that anymore. But one of the things that he will not call me from or call people from is bitterness, envy, strife, pride, stubbornness, and manipulation. Those are things he don't say necessarily. If I had been that way, he wouldn't say that to me. So I always took that in mind. And whatever room I was in, I just wanted to be a blessing and an asset, even if it was disappointing. I had to realize today ain't the only day. You know, today is the day for this. I'm going to be able to do something else over here. So if I got it, you know, even when I wrote songs with people, I let people share in songwriting with me, you know, and I've had people stiffen up that didn't put, you know, they put in 30% of the lyrics. And I'm putting in 70% of the lyrics they get, and I allow them to get half. And all of a sudden, they get some little thing like, I said, man, is this your last song you're going to ever write?
Right?
Why are you?
This the last one?
Now you done called your attorney, and now you ain't never wrote a song before. And your attorney and people, family, you better get this, you better go. Now you giving me stuff. No, okay, cool. Don't worry about it. What do you want from this? I want 50% instead of, okay, cool, no problem. You got it. And that's the last song they wrote with me. And never got on another one. A lot of them never got on anything else. Sometimes you got one time to get in the room. Every now and then you might get two. But sometimes you only got one time to get in the room. And you better make it count. Better make it count.
So, you know, I got to ask you. You know, I get
ask away, brother.
You know, I got to ask, man. So, all right, I'm a segue into it like this.
Say.
There's a lot of people who, no matter what, I'm gonna switch that. Nobody gets mad at the person who goes from 8th grade, middle school, as a senior in middle school to their freshman year in high school. Nobody gets mad at those kinds of transitions. Nobody gets mad at a transition from somebody graduating from college, going into this, that, or getting promoted from this to that. Nobody has an issue with that because they understand that there are times and seasons and you know, things like that for everything. But a lot of us, and I put myself in this, a lot of us who did not know the story could not understand your departure from commission. And it was shocking for a lot of us. And it's like, you know, there's this nostalgia. There's this whole position of, oh yeah. It's like people's two people's parents who's divorced, right? Mm-hmm. And no matter what, it could have been a horrible situation that we didn't know of, but we just want mom and dad back together just because, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is this, my question is, I appreciate, dude, I mean, I've been rocking with on the winning side to all the way up to Matters of the Heart, bro. I mean, all and everything in between. No, it wasn't. Was Matters of the Heart the last? Yeah, I think it's Matters of the Heart.
Yeah.
So, but I stayed on the train into, you know, Inner Court and all this, all the way to this day, right? How difficult is it, or was it for you to transition from out of commission into your own thing? And what is it like moving forward without looking back? Is that a struggle?
That is a subject that I will not talk about. Got
you.
And I was able to say that with a straight face. Man, I'm about to talk about that junk. You know I'm about to talk about it.
And I was able to say it with a straight face.
Here's the deal.